Folks, hello again. I've found myself asking this question many times in recent weeks, and today I'm asking it again. What is the point of the United Nations? Last week, after months of tension and military build-up at Russia's border with Ukraine, a threat totally clear, President Vladimir Putin commanded his troops go in. He called it a special military operation, but essentially he declared war on his neighbour. At that very moment, when Russian troops crossed the border and launched the first attacks, over in New York, the UN was squabbling over condemnation that never came. The 15-member Security Council was voting on a resolution to condemn the invasion. If the text was successful, it would have demanded that Moscow immediately stop its attack and withdraw all of its troops. As it turned out, though, there was a big problem. Russia was this month's chair of the Council. What a coincidence. According to the UN model, the chairman's role is to see that the committee produces a result that is immediately acceptable to all, or at least an overwhelming majority of delegates. 11 Security Council members voted in favour of the resolution. China, India and the UAE abstained, which shouldn't be forgotten. China's position won't surprise anyone, while India's silence is best explained by the fact that it buys 23% of Russia's total arms exports. But back to the vote. There are 5 permanent members of the Security Council: China, France, the UK, the US and Russia. Any one of them can veto a resolution. And of course, Russia did just that, claiming that Ukrainians had been persecuting and killing Russian-speaking citizens in its eastern provinces. Russia's veto on the Security Council resolution led to this blistering attack from Ukraine's ambassador.
There is no purgatory for war criminals. They go straight to hell, Ambassador.
The UN was set up precisely to stop war from happening. So if supposedly intelligent people can't stop 150,000 troops from crossing the border with its massive war machinery, doesn't that render it all worthless? The UN was established after World War II to replace the League of Nations, which was seen as largely ineffective. Sound familiar? Ultimately, the new United Nations and its members signed a charter which took effect in October 1945. One of the key rules found in the UN Charter states that all members shall refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against territorial integrity or political independence of any state, or in any other manner inconsistent with the purposes of the United Nations. Well, Vladimir Putin just told us what he thinks of the UN Charter, just as his ambassador chairing the Security Council told us what he thinks about his role of producing results that are acceptable to the majority. By launching war on a neighbour, Russia should be punted from its spot as one of the 5 permanent members of the Security Council. The world is very different to how it was in 1945 when the P5 was selected. The UN lost a great deal of credibility last week. Russia made a joke of its processes by even denying an invasion was happening. As long as Russia has veto powers, it'll do that to stymie the West, because it can. While supposed United Nations are bogged down in the New York talk fest, most of the developments were made outside the UN. The European Union stepped up in support of Ukraine, even sending fighter jets. After a slow start, Germany finally threw some solid help to Ukraine, even though most of its gas is bought from Russia. Sweden is even breaking a long-standing tradition not to send arms to conflict zones by shipping aid to Kiev, but that's if it can get in. Because as we speak, Russian troops are closing in on the Ukrainian capital of Kiev. So all of this may be too late. Too much talking, not enough doing. And Putin knew that all along and exploited it. If you'd like to support this channel, please like, share and subscribe below. I'll see you next week.